I guess you're trying to say when I was born with a violent rage, I guess. What I mean by that is I've always had a hard time trying to conform to people's standards. I said this ain't the border. The border's over there, cocksuckers. Go do your fucking job. Go to the border. You're more of a Mexican than he is, assholes.
They won't let him let the dog out. That dog right now is fucking hot as hell and being tortured, in my opinion. I hope they come start trying to harass us and ask us for ID, because you know what I ain't fucking got.
I usually don't carry it walking through the desert.
I got sick of the straight life in Billings, Montana. A 9-to-5 apartment, motorcycle. I worked in restaurants and kitchens. Yeah. Just pretty much all in 1 week. Got sick of all the straight life. I was gonna hitchhike all the way to the fucking coast. Wasn't sure where I was going. This is our home. He lives here. He belongs here. He's not doing anything illegal. This is why I fucking don't want to live in society anymore. Motherfuckers.
It almost makes me wish I had a Mexican buddy I could call who'd be willing to stick a bunch of his friends in the back of the truck and go tearing ass down the road. Actually, what I came on early in arguments with my parents as to what I wanted to be, I want to be a hermit. Fuck these people. Was it for the probation thing? I'd suggest we start talking loudly about how this is the diversion anyway, so it doesn't matter.
And I know it's wrong, and I'm really not trying to scare anybody, but at the same time, I'm not turning around and putting up with nobody's shit either. Motherfucker.
I'm trying not to preach. Stop filming. It's just, it really, really gets to me, dude, the way they take away people's rights in this country and nobody says shit, dude. That's why I live here. That's why I live here. I can't even watch fucking broadcast TV anymore because of the propaganda bullshit, dude. And that's the least of it.
Slab City, USA, planet Earth, in this giant universe we live in. Peace.
Me and my wife are documentarians. We're making a documentary. What got us started on it was a total accident. We came out to find a good camping spot, and then meeting the individual people here. You know, on the street, most people wouldn't even say, you know, a second word to these people.
When I first came here, you know, I thought I needed a lot of different things. But over the time that I've been here, I have learned to want what I need. And when you just want the stuff you need, life becomes a lot simpler.
Your average Californian culture exists. Waking up in the morning, you probably don't even have to turn the TV on because it's been on all night. And if you're not doing that, then you're in the car with the windows rolled up and the air conditioner on, headed out to go surfing or go to the NASCAR race or to the slap down wrestling or go out to the desert and race your OHVs around, and which all those things are noble pursuits, certainly. I mean, I'm not badmouthing any of that. I'm just saying that they don't enhance cultural diversity.
Humans have choice. Humans can choose, in fact, have to choose what actions to take, what thought matrices to perform, to create that give them an accurate picture of what is in relation to themselves.
We all know that something's been messed up for a very long time. We all know this.
I can't even watch fucking broadcast TV anymore because of the propaganda bullshit. And that's the least of it. That's why I live here.
We all instinctively know this already. Something's been messed up. Something that was just beneath the surface. Kind of like when you wake from a dream and you're just kind of trying to grasp at that, wisp of something, and it eludes you every time.
I couldn't tell you why to this day why I decided I needed to go get a fucking job and an apartment in my name when I got out, because after 16 months of that, man, I couldn't imagine doing that again.
I worked at a bank to see greed, and to make money, suck money up from people, hardworking people, and charge them fees and do all these other things. It's just, it just got to me, and it kept on getting to me.
Faster curious. Little faster now. Pick up the pace here. We're not fooling around here. This is Slab City, for crying out loud. We want this to make a difference. We want everybody to listen to what we have to say. Let's pick up the pace. Well, we're living way out here below sea level. Whatever could get on society's track. Yeah, we seldom bathe, and you might say we're disheveled. Yeah, we like it here. We ain't going back. We like it here. We ain't going back.
I got really sick of the straight life, and that's when I hit the road and joined the carnival in Portland, Oregon. I just decided all in a week I was going to go, and I was going to leave all my shit behind, and I was going to go do whatever I wanted to do. And I knew I was going to the coast. I did not join the circus, I joined the carnival. There's a big difference, man. The circus locks up their animals at night, and the carnival lets theirs out.
Having my parents and my sister come out from the East Coast to visit, whom I hadn't seen in several years. And it was sort of interesting to be able to see back at myself through their eyes and notice that, okay, I knew I was off the mainstream, but oh, it's that far, is it? Cool.
Easter Sunday when I was in church, I overheard a lady in front of us who had just come from San Bernardino, and she said, well, this is where they must send their rejects. And it occurred to me as she was saying that, as I looked at this group of rejects, here's a psychiatrist, here's a computer technician, here's an artist who's 93 years old.
Somebody told me per capita there might be more people out here with college degrees than any similar sized community anywhere in the country. I might do an informal survey on that someday and see if I can determine the veracity of that statement.
You can't look at somebody out there and think, well, they must be out here because society rejects them. It's the other way around. They reject society.
I always felt that the whole thing was a bogus circus act since I was about 5 or 6 years old. And I haven't really changed my mind since then. I guess I think that Slab City is more culturally evolved than mainstream society.
Until you get used to doing the in-the-moment thing and identity change on a heartbeat where it amuses or is of good uses, you're basically going around in every situation you walk into. You're asking everybody else present, okay, who am I?
I'm Mr. Asshole, and I turn around and pride myself and turn around and being a public nuisance. I was a murderer. I turn around and kill people. I ain't proud of it, but I changed.
My past experiences, I hang out with the wrong crowd and I get in trouble, and and I get mixed up with the crazy stuff. I go to jail or get in fights or whatever else.
I came home from work one day, y'all, and so many years back, and my babies were gone, and it took me 3 years to find them. And a year later, I was called and told I was given a divorce, and that I was proven unfit mother, and their father was given full custody. But I must have done something right, because they are living a wonderful life, and they are individuals, and that's what we were supposed to do, grow them up and let them birds fly, and let them go. There's no strings, man. Job is done. I did it. It rocks. Life is cool. This is a waking morning on a payday at Slab City.
Da-da-da-da! Super Hooter! Comes out of the sky faster than a speeding bullet in times of need.
No.
Sometimes needs to be spit upon.
They're real mild.
Which is me to use it? Because I'll tell you, I'm racked. My energy is at your body.
Since I've got back, I just, one thing after another. The fifth wheel pain, catching up. Just.
You better stop and exhale and catch your breath. It's payday. Everybody's gotten their Social Security checks. When food gets low and rest gets lean, tempers get a little bit more edgy, and family members will bark and snap at each other like dogs in a pack will sometimes. But it's all with love. And then on payday, everybody gets to exhale.
I rarely eat. I eat natural life. I haven't starved. I got a beer full of refrigerator. That's pretty good. I like that. I got some gas in the car. Got a little tobacco out there. Still able to utter a coherent sentence. But I'm also a disabled American veteran. I managed to finagle a check so I don't have to work. That's what you want when you live out here. Some people call it the Czech Republic.
My brother used to get mad because my husband didn't have a job. That's none of their business. David's job is me, his wife. I am a job. I'm a wife. That's a job, man, for the dude. I don't care what anybody says. The government pays me not to go back to work because I'm a schizophrenic bipolar manic depressive. They say they don't want me to work. They want me to stay here and take pills. And I do all this with rest and food. I do not take pills. That's what drugs are what doctors give you. I run like hell from them motherfuckers. Hey, bring me home some ice cream cones so I can serve ice cream. I haven't got ice cream for breakfast. And I want some of that orange. How much money you got? $5 bill cover. Oh God, you don't, do we?
I've had people just come up and give me money. I felt a little conflicted about it at first. It's like, well, gee, what's this saying? Then I gave myself a Gibbs slap upside the back of the head and said, Dave, people are walking up and handing you money without you doing a thing. Don't you dare discourage it. If anything, focus them toward higher denominations.
I just don't, honestly, I don't think that I am meant to die, dude, for a while. When you live this far out in the middle of nowhere, it's not easy to get a job and shit like that. Just 10 miles from our house is the biggest bombing range full of all kinds of stuff that
makes lots of money. Takes you about 2 to 3 hours to make $500 other than your drive time. You just gotta drive through a minefield to get it.
It don't bother me, you know. I see, you know, I flinch and everything else when I'm with different people and they're driving over that stuff. You know, I'm waiting for the sucker to blow up, you know, blow the front end off a truck or something, you know.
Everyone that's ever been up there have been hurt up there, except for me and this one other guy who runs with me. Bombs have gone off. They're just barely below the ground, even though the other ones you see all over the place, that's just one layer upon another layer that's setting upon other layers. You know, setting one off normally sets off anyone within 10, 15 feet of them. My family doesn't like what I do. The kids, they know a little bit. They're kind of young. They're not mine, but they are mine now. I have one on the way. I'm engaged. I met a woman that I never thought I would meet. One day when I was leaving, the youngest girl came up to me and she gave me this little bracelet that said, I own the guy guarding me. And I put it on and she told me whether I'm sleeping or not, when I sleep, I know that I dream. And when I dream, my wishes go to the unicorns because the unicorns will keep you safe.
You know, I was on the streets before I came over here, before I came down here. And I felt a lot, a real lot. You know, I was up there with, you know, like, before I left Louisiana, you know, I was up there, you know, had a car, working every day, had bills, paying bills, pay cell phone, you know, pay pager, whatever, you know. I had my own house, my own little bachelor pad, and I was paying my bills. You know, I had insurance and stuff like that. And I just one day just didn't care and just started drinking and doing drugs again, just fucking lost it all.
Normally the military only runs maneuvers until 11 o'clock. They have no fly ordinance after 11. So we usually try to stick up to being up there at that time because none of the naval base that is stationed there come up the mountain either at 11 o'clock, and they don't go up in any of the live areas anyways.
The Border Patrol got more access than the military. And if they see you out there, they're taking you to jail and they're burning your vehicle.
The military normally doesn't just go out there and check on to see if people are up there because the military will not send anyone that's in their care out into a live active bombing area. But the Border Patrol have to run up there constantly. So the military bought the Border Patrol a helicopter to chase a lot of people. They do not give a shit. They will shoot you in your vehicle if they ask you to stop and they're in a helicopter. They only ask you once. And if you do not stop, they have 50 caliber bullets that will shoot right through you, your truck, and everything else just to show you that they mean business.
With the Patriot Act and whatnot, they could actually charge you, especially if you have any live ammo coming out, under one or another terrorist statutes, or, well, hell, I've been charged with possession of a destructive device.
Me, my girlfriend, and Dave was on the other side of the mountain there, picking up brass and aluminum, and I started picking up live ammo that the helicopter and the jets shoot, you know. And the Border Patrol pulled us over and thought we were hauling illegals or drugs or something like that, and they went to the vehicle and seen that we had live ammo, and they called the sheriff department, and the sheriff's department come and got us and took us all to jail. It's like, I'd rather do this than live on the streets. All the mountains out there have all that brass and that aluminum out there. That's what I like. You know, and, to me, it's just like seeing dollar signs out there. You see all that stuff all over the ground.
About 20, 30 pounds in now.
I'm one of like maybe 3 or 4 other people out here that I know that don't get a check every month. I hustle by picking up cans, plastic, aluminum, whatever that's just laying on the range or laying around here on the slabs. I'm taking these live 5.6s and taking them off the chain, and then I sell the brass to one of the guys on the slab, and he buys it and he makes chimes out of it. Yeah, they're live right now. As long as you don't mess with the primer, they won't hurt you. But if you start messing and fooling around with the primers, then they'll hurt you and you might die. We get these on the bomber range about a week ago. It's not hard work, it's just a lot of time, sitting around. I'm just take a break from scrapping the steel. If I don't do this, then I starve. This is how it is. Yeah, all they do is fuck around. Like it's coming back.
All the bombs that are dropped by these jets up there are dropped in one particular spot. They call it cluster heaven, but it's just a small valley up in the middle of the bombing range. Just going out to cluster for cluster bombs, they're all made of aluminum. Other than the screws that hold them together, a person can bring back a ton or more every time, and average, if they clean it, $1,000, off one load.
This right here is probably about $50 clean after you take all the steel off it. It's a rush just walking around up there, man, because there's live stuff all over the ground.
Ever since I first came up here, when I went up to the range, any problems I ever had, seemed to disappear when I got up to the mountain. It's the most peacefulest place I've ever been to be, have so much mass destruction in every direction that you're standing.
I'm a hard worker, I work hard at anything I do, and the bombing range is what I like to do. The man upstairs wants me to be gone from this earth, I'll be gone.
Okay, say something. Don't start, but just say
Something. Hello. Something.
One more time.
Something. Hello. Hello, my name is Jerry Jones. I'm here to turn around and tell y'all a little bit about life and my life and how it started to where it is today.
We both know how intelligent Jerry is. Jerry's really cool. Jerry's really deep. Jerry's very funny.
When I was a young boy, I got to watch my stepdad rape my baby sisters, beat my mother, almost chopped my older brother's head off. I basically would have my feet set on fire.
No one would listen to him. That little boy is 6 years old. I never thought I'd see him on videotape or anything. You try to take a picture of him, he'd snatch the camera, dude.
I waited for my mom and my dad to leave. I went into their room, grabbed his gun, waited for them to come back, and I turned around and put a bullet between his eyes.
You see Jerry
in Oklahoma City or any city other than. I mean,
I don't see Jerry anywhere but Slab City.
I just would have loved to see the way people would react as Jerry would walk around or they'd interact with him in any other part. Because I love Jerry. He's just so awesome.
I found out he's a lot more intelligent than I thought he was. So now I get to really talk with him. You know, when we get beyond the bullshit of the normal pass by what's happening bullshit. You're a comical card, but you really are. You speak a good mind. When you have it on your mind, you say your mind, and that's a good thing. It's not disrespectful.
Okay, when I was just a kid, I watched my mom divorce my dad. I got to watch my mom remarry my stepdad. When my stepdad married my mom, my life became a living hell. My mom was forced to watch her babies get raped. Not only by my stepdad, but my stepbrothers too. Seeing them turn around and yell, scream, and cry was devastating to me. That hurt me more than anything else in the world could ever hurt. I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't. The only thing I turned around to do was just cry. I really felt helpless, hopeless. My stepdad trying to discipline me, and my stepbrother and his stepkids disciplined me by setting my feet on fire with Ronson's starter fluid. That's when I went out and asked for help, and I couldn't get the help I wanted.
He comes from the same town where my mom's married family. She married into the Spence family in Billings and Belfry, Montana. I remember our family making pies and food, taking to that boy's family and the situations, contributing to that, and I remember on the news.
One day I went out. My stepdad was beating the shit out of my mom. I went out and flagged down a cop and told him what was going on. He turned around and told me there was nothing he could do unless I had my mom or my stepdad with me. I basically turned around and told him it was pretty fucking sad when my stepdad's beating the shit out of my mother and you people can't turn around and basically do nothing. Well, you know, they basically told me what in life I had to turn around and do to protect my family. So it turned around and took me about a week and a half for everybody to turn around and leave, and I went into my mom's room, my stepdad's room, went into the dresser drawer, pulled out his .38, loaded it, and waited for him to come home. And that's when I pulled the trigger. Got him right between the eyes. Unfortunately, for my case, that was a mistake because I got to watch all my brothers and sisters and everybody in my life disappear in front of me and not have anything to turn around and do with me from today to this interview. And I am really sorry about that.
Oh man,
they're done talking.
With her hamburger? Did you take her hamburger already?
No, I just put it in the car.
Okay.
Okay, how me and Darla met is she came up in my driveway and said she was here to meet the Nutty Brothers because people told her to stay away from the Nutty Brothers. And she had a curiosity. She had to turn around and show up to meet the Nutty Brothers. I'm the first person that come out, and first words that came out of my mouth was, "Who are you and what the fuck do you want?" She said, "My name is Darla. I'm here to meet the Nutty Brothers." I said, "You just did." And I guess you could turn around and say at that point in time it's love at first sight. Oh, she had a great smile, pretty eyes, except when you turn around and get her mad, you can turn around and see her eyes change like a mood ring. Even then, she turned around and still happy about life.
There is no failure until you fail to keep trying. That makes sense?
I turned around and took me almost 9.5 years to actually get the courage to get up and ask her if she wanted to turn around and marry me. And when she accepted, I think that was probably probably the first time in a long time I was actually happy.
I don't know. A normal day for me? I don't know. That's the second time I sliced that same ball. Bam! Oh shit, it's going to Mike's. Hi, Mike. Anything could happen at any given moment. Today's event sponsored by High Life and Marijuana. What is today? May the 11th, man. 6 days after Cinco de Mayo, we're almost done partying. What day of the week? That I don't know. It's probably Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm surprised I know it's the 11th. Anyone at different connections that are interested in doing different things out here, from fucking music to building to filming their own fucking skate shit, could pop up at any time.
At least that's, you know, known then, you know, I mean, it makes it safer.
Justin?
And the cable bill, the first cable bill, came in my name. That's when I fucking freaked out. I was starting to get a good start on a life there. I was starting to have a lot of fun, and then for some reason it started taking another fucking turn with it. When it got to the point that the only time I knew the fucking month turned was when I paid the fucking bills. That was it. Like, I couldn't do both. You know? Couldn't have fun and pay the bills. Sure as fuck wasn't having no family. I was so on my way out, and I was so in full travel mode. Like, I was ready to go beyond the carnival. I was going to be leather tramp all the way. Backpack and a bedroll. Get it done. And I came to such a fucking dead halt when I got here. I've never seen a place like this in my life. It was the first time I tried to live a life where I wasn't on society's fucking grid, but still I wasn't a fucking thief or a drug dealer. And that's what I found here. That's what I found with the carnival. You know, only here I can be lazy about it. This old asshole, he threw all his garbage in the fucking pool, broke bottles in there. When Fuel TV did a thing out here and left their ramps, he cut them up for firewood and burned them. Yeah, so like the day he moved, dude, I fired up my bus and I put it right fucking there, said, this is it. And I started cleaning it out. As far as the plans go, nothing here was my fucking plan. And when people show up with plans and supplies and a little beer, fucking, I'm on that shit. Yeah, you want to put a fun box over there? Let's do it. I got some wood, you buy the concrete, you know, you buy the beer, we have a little barbecue. This needed to be done. And I just really like, I found my thing, I found something to put all of my everything into. Since the pool, since I started this, and since I parked my bus across the street and took it over almost 3 years ago now, that's my fucking purpose. And until I'm done with the slabs, I'm doing the pool. And there's going to be shit in there that's going to be in there forever. Concrete, I'll fucking pour, dude, long after I'm gone. If that's my only mark on this entire planet, that's it. And everybody says it's Justin's place and blah, 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 but it's not like that. Up here on the slab is my place. The pool is for everybody. Even people that have run the fuck off my slab violently, they can go in the pool. Turn that off for a minute, man.
I would say the main reason that I drink is because I like to catch a buzz. I drink because I'm hungry, and I rarely have a young lass at hand preparing meals for me. Most people call me the pool boy, but you know, they call you the professor for obvious reasons. Right? You know, just had a formal education, no stuff. Didactic, pedantic. Those are the first two right there. If you know what those words mean, you know what that's why. That's it right there. You know it all. He thinks he's overly educated and shit, you know, like that. You don't have any problem letting other people know that. I've Basically, I taught kids how to go to college. That was the idea. You know, being sober all the time, I've tried it. And it's okay. I've had some fun being sober and all that. Not a bad deal. But I'd rather have a buzz. That makes sense? I've noticed that I feel happier. Happier. I feel gay when I have a buzz. Weak and wild the way we are, conferring with flowers, conversing with the rain. Some of the best work I've ever done is when I've had way too many beers.
Identify yourself and show your paperwork immediately.
Now watch how fast these fuckers go. You go around your entire life without ever getting buzzed. You're just gonna go around going, well, I'm cool. I never get a buzz. I never drink. I never smoke. I'm always really straight and sober. I'm a really squared away person. You know, wouldn't you like to be like me?
I was dead. And I can feel I'm something new. It calls it life here. Must be a new life. It begs the question, all right, well, who am I? And that's the sometimes often painful but also fun part of the journey. When I was 15, I discovered the work that had been done with psychedelic substances in accessing what's already been laid down as the matrix. Basically inventorying your brain and determined to go through it point by point. Whatever I didn't put there, throw it the hell out. Once again, fuck these people.
When I met David, he had little pieces of paper written and posted at the doorways. They, again, like subliminal messages, okay? There are profound things that are thought of, and we write them on the ceiling.
I started playing with it just by when I woke up in the morning, just after I sort of did that first eye flutter and focus on the ceiling or whatever. Okay, who shall we be today? And start from the very actions of getting out of bed or almost re-waking up under that character.
Hey, Davey, how old were they when you come in and said, what do you think about being a 9-pack?
There's another identity angle. I'm the head of this guy's pack.
And I looked at him with the same feeling of love when I first met him. A couple of things he did, I'm like, are you telling me I get to have my dog and I get to keep all of her puppies too? That's like getting $1 jillion with babies. Shh, give me a kiss. Let me talk to you, Homer. Come on. This is Homer Jack.
Although Liz might be the head of the pack, I'm not sure. Observation seems to indicate the bitches do sort of head the pack. They just let the studs think they're heading it.
Sissy Nana, puppy girl, somebody clean the baby. He's got it on his head. Come on, clean him. Good girl. That's Sissy Nana washing up those short legs.
Identity just changes from what perspective you're defining it on.
Hey, I'm Dave Huntington. I live in the double-decker. Next. You have the person of Jesus Christ, God, and the indwelling Holy Spirit who holds all infinite possibilities in their hand to find out from. Who am I in you? And the phrase "the sky's the limit" pops into my mind, but it's not even applicable because it isn't. Rick mentioned something about needing a pastor, and my loving wife opened her mouth.
I told on David that he was a reverend. Next thing I know, that afternoon, morning, an hour later, Dave came home and said Rick asked him to be the in-house reverend for the Haven, where the AA is held in the Jesus Appleseed. I always want to call it Johnny Appleseed Ministry.
Religious systems actually can, and bits and pieces of them at least, were part of what I used to get to that domino moment of ahas. So where does it fit? And another aha. Oh! It's the pamphlet that has some suggestions for making the most of your stay here at the Incarnation Resort. It's not rules. It's suggestions for how to maximize your time. Father, thanks for another wake-up. Thank you for our friendship in you. Open our spiritual ears, open our spiritual eyes, open our hearts. In Jesus' name, amen.
Hallelujah. Excuse me. We gotta get a stop at this. I keep getting it longer. It's getting better and better. That's so much fun. Feels so good. I never thought I'd be a reverend's wife. He and I have been together 15 years now, and here we are.
On that identity subject, yeah, I'm Lizzie's old man. So yes, that was a good hit. Yeah, you're right. That's a good pod. I forgot I had an old lady. Liz, if this makes it into some finished project, remember that post-hypnotic? 1, 2, 3, now.
Oh, cool.
I'll see you later, rock star. Say bye to Alice. Me and her are gonna go visit the White Rabbit.
Okay, so how did the White Rabbit for me?
I know, honey. You'll have to tell David about him and the raccoon. I love you guys. You know what? I love you, Mama. I hope you ain't too mortified, Mama. Virginia died. I know my dad's just having a blast laughing at his daughter down here.
If anybody watching this is wondering, yes, you just know. There's an instant when you know my life will be the less for this person moving away from it.
And how you like me now, and I'm not a nice person. Woo-wee, Wayne.
There's just infinite myriad of uncharted possibilities and intriguing things here for you. And most of it things you'll probably never get to know if this moves away.
I told Lizzie she had no filter between her subconscious and her conscious. I told her this like 3 years ago and she totally fucking believes me.
He's the one that told me that my subconscious and conscious has got the constant direct hookup. Why did you say that? That's it. We're doing an interview. You don't mind? You're on camera, brother.
Always am.
You liked my pigtails, did you?
She's crazy in mostly a good way. She has her moments.
What are you gonna do now?
This is terrible.
Oh no, I'm best.
She can't stop this woman.
Right. Well, no, David loves it. Put quarters in me. Say, give me some marijuana and I'll stop. You want to go on a date sometime, young man? Oh, hey man, you got it. I got a witness.
Crazy is a perception. Crazy is one person judging another.
Humans aren't just locked into good banana, bad banana. And the kinds of behaviors talked about and referred to as crazy, most often aren't good banana, bad banana behaviors. Otherwise, they'd be calling them crazy post-mortem.
I didn't know what schizophrenia meant or what it was. It's hearing voices where usually you want to do bad things, hurt yourself or whatever. The voices I hear is my folks and my ancestors and God or whoever the bigger power. There's something out there, you know, that inner Jiminy Cricket, man.
Wake up, Slab City! It's a beautiful one. Tuesday, June 1st.
when people channel out or the yogas, you can draw on that energy. God or whoever that big thing or whatever did it, it's all out there. Like Einstein said, everything's energy. And again, bottom line, nothing matters anyway because it's all matter. Hey, yo, dog, no. It's all matter anyway. So we don't have to be all freaked out about this serious shit. You know, if you just sit back and like watch the birds, they'll tell you when something happened or these, you know. And a dog, when a dog or a cat gets all upset, and they go right back to like this calm, man.
If I were to look at you and say that Lizzie was a shaman, that thousands of years ago, Lizzie, people would get down on their knees and revere her and send her to the cave and feed her strawberries, would I be crazy? That's what would happen.
Because they're hearing a different voice. And the only different voice we know about would be something sacred, something beyond. So if they can hear that voice, yeah, they're crazy as a fruit bat. But when they're translating, we want them around.
Oh yeah, it's a gift. Oh yeah, it's a blessing, dude. It's a Einstein. Do you know how? I'm in high company, and I guess I got IQ. I found somebody. I've never had well, I did too. I had to take some of these 8-hour battery tests back during working conversation. They looked at me and they said, like, you are so smart. And I said, well, cool, thank you very much.
She's a lovely schizophrenic who has made her disorder a gift. She's a bright bubble of sunshine.
She's an incredible woman. I mean, I love Lizzie and I are like sisters. You know, there's just a connection there that's just...
And I'm 62 years walking around in cycles on this earth. I don't know if it's old, young, or in between. It just is. Thank my mother, Virginia Daphne Stites, and Jacqueline Bennell. Because if they hadn't fell in love and got tickled in their crotches, I wouldn't be here.
Okay. So... Alright, this is... No, my glasses are filthy. Oh, well, too bad, huh? Okay, so I guess I'm recording now. And I am doing this for Gabe in this movie. Hi, Gabe. Man, what was it like leaving Chicago? Really emotional. Really intense. Really freeing. It was time to go. It was like 4th down, time to punt. So that's what I did. Kind of planning on dying out like here, you know. I was in the work field from day, you know, I was legally able to, and I've been in there since, pretty much. The one who dies with the most toys wins type of thing, you know. And I had a good job, you know, the whole thing. And, you know, I loved my jobs that I did. And I worked at a bank, and I worked at FedEx. You know, I love, you know, working with people and things like that. I was a courier. I loved my job. That was real hard, man. That was hard. It was hard not being able to physically do your job anymore. Definitely didn't handle it too well, but, you know, I up and ran away. You know, when I first got diagnosed, I was just, a year before, I had a biopsy. And it came back, you know, negative and all that. And, you know, fine, you know. And about a year later, you know, I felt the lump, and it's right in the same spot where the scar was. Didn't think nothing of it, thought it was scar tissue, you know. Boom, bam, find out, you know, all this. And I just, you know, I did chemo. And my partner at the time, her brother was dying of kidney cancer. And I just got diagnosed with going through surgery. So I pretty much just kept it inside. This trip has opened those wounds again, in a sense. I mean, I basically came out here on the last road trip, you know, last ditch effort, instead of going through chemo, surgery, and shit like that. So I didn't want to do that again. So now after like a little over a year being here, I know who to turn to. I know where to go, you know, who to talk to, and I know how to get things done. I started doing taxi service for people, and you know, for the slabbers here, you know, to get their monthly supplies and stuff like that. I came out here looking for something, or to do things that I wanted to do, you know, before, you know. I'm over here. It's a sunset. Gotta watch it. You know, some days I feel like, most days, I feel like, you know, what am I supposed to do now? You know, like, I wasn't planning on being around. So if you don't deal with something, it definitely comes back and slaps you in the face. You're eventually gonna have to deal with it. You know, no matter what it is, in your whole life, it's how it works.
Went to prison at 18 for 7 counts of armed robbery and 16 counts of burglary. First time I ever went to prison. Yeah. Yeah, my lawyer told me I had to do 12 years for a probation background checkup or something like that. And, I decided, you know, I was going to just take 12 years because I was in trouble when I was younger. But over there in the state of Louisiana, all you have to do is half. You got to do 6 in prison and 6 on parole.
When I was sentenced, they gave me 10 years to the Department of Corrections. The names of the crimes wouldn't do you any good. Accountability for criminal mischief and bail jumping, both heinous felonies, punishable by 10 years in prison. I only had to do 5. Yeah, starting when I was 21. Yeah, they didn't catch me for 3 years. I knew that fucking crooked estate wanted me. I did a lot of worse things that they could have nailed me for. And what they caught me on was absolute bullshit. And they pressed it anyway, but...
We would just go in like a Cracker Barrel or a Chevron or a 7-Eleven and just hold the gun up and tell them to give us the money. And how do I say this? I was real high. Real high, and I just felt like I was bulletproof.
Most criminals aren't questioning things that are the law or the accepted norm. They're merely knee-jerking the negative.
I was having a dispute with this guy over parking spaces. He gets the idea one day of pounding a bunch of nails through the radiator of my 73 Javelin. And we took one of his biggest piece of shit cars. We stole his 80 Datsun 5-door and ran it through a dry riverbed till it wouldn't move. We broke all the windows, it kicked in all the fenders. The state of Montana felt that even though I'd never been in trouble before in my life, they had to give me 2 felonies and 10 years in prison because we did it on a revenge trip.
My older brother turned around as a kid, had rheumatic fever twice. And because his 2 episodes of rheumatic fever made him mentally disabled in the head. And people turned around and took that little disadvantage on his mental capacity to fuck with me. That's when I broke into my girlfriend's dad's house and turned around and fucking shot and killed him when he got home. And that was 14 years old, which got me sent to prison for life. He was a cop. He was a Milwaukee, Wisconsin city police officer. He had a problem with me, and he kept turning around anytime he seen my brother, because he knew it was my brother, had to turn around and any way he could mess with him because he had a problem with me. I got sentenced to life. Meant to be paying for the rest of my life. That fucking life, that 1 or 2 lives that I've taken, it didn't sound like much of a choice to me. Spend the rest of my life behind prison walls or turn around and go someplace and get my ass blown up. See, you give me life, and now you give me a chance to go deal with life, and at the same time, I gotta take lives to turn around and sustain life. I saved a lot of people's lives in Vietnam. Unfortunately, one of the worst things I had to turn around and deal with is fly a helicopter to get to an evac center to save lives. Couldn't get nobody to come in. I had to turn around and fly a helicopter because the pilot himself got fucking shot and had to be flown out. 4 years. 2 tours. Right there again, it's the world, the country, and society was against me. Just don't understand why I just had the will to come back. There had to be some reason behind it. He came out and said, "Dara, I know you've been hurt by pretty much everybody in your life, and I'm here to turn around and ask you to marry me, and I promise you I won't hurt you. I won't hit you, I won't argue with you, I won't fight with you, but I'll take care of you to the best of my ability till death do us part." And she accepted, so.
We thought she was pregnant. We thought she was having a baby. She did too. She was thrilled. But it turned out that her liver wasn't working.
Because the whole of the liver, the only thing I can turn around and do is be by her side, turn around and watch the doctors take a needle about 8 inches long, the size of an ink pen cartridge, to drain the fluids out of her stomach. And finally to the point where she just turned around and got weaker and weaker and weaker. She couldn't walk, she couldn't stand. Her mom, who was a bartender, who basically turned around and at our young age turned around and put her on the streets for prostitution to make money to go to the casinos, to spend money at casinos. So she basically support her own habits. And when she was 13, her stepdad turned around and took her to Guatemala and had his way with her, and basically ripped her insides out and pretty much left her there for dead, which basically at that point in time made Darla into an alcoholic. Well, I roll her over, I feed her, I give her water, I turn around and basically monitor the people that come in and turn around and check their vitals. I monitor the people that turn around and come in and give her medication. And if I turn around and see something that I don't like, I'm the first person to say something about what's going on. And that's pretty much my daily routine. This woman is my soul, my life, and they're my whole being. Now, she's here, she's gone, and I'm still here. Most of my life I turn around and been spewed over, pushed over, thrown off to the side because of my attitude. And I met somebody like her and changed my thoughts, changed my life.
They only had 18 months to share with one another before she passed away.
If the chance is of me being with her again, I will turn around and respect the promises that she made me make. Since her passing, I've had to walk away from probably, no exaggeration, 100 fucking fights. That's why I turned around and got my ass whipped by the fucking rigs because I couldn't fight. Promise I made I couldn't fight. So I took an ass whooping. I felt like a bitch. A true fucking bitch, man, that turned around and wasn't going to fight back.
I've been with a lot of girls, but and I've never ever thought in my life, that I would even wanted to marry any of them, But after I was with Kitty for about a month, I knew I didn't want to be friends.
I went from hell, which I thought was awesome as fuck, but if you know what I mean, to full-fledged family going. Married, 4 kids.
I love all kids too, so great.
That's good.
But
I was telling Kitty, I said, you know why we never have no problems and stuff is because we act the same age and shit. I mean stuff. Sorry. I met a woman that who come to my door and told me that I was a dumb shit motherfucker, and that I was wasting my life, and that she wasn't gonna let me waste it. And she told me that she didn't care what I did. Anyone that can sit with her kids and do everything that I do with them every day and make them that happy, then she could deal with whatever came with it. But she wanted me to tell the kids exactly what it entailed. They did understand the fact that, you know, I could get hurt or I could die going out there. And they said, I know we need the money, but do we need the money that bad? The two on this side. The one with the pink dress, and then the one that's looking under her dress. This is one of the retards I call a kid.
Do you know my dream that I had? Take off your camera and take off them earmuffs and I'll tell you. Wait, you know I'm taking a picture of you. Hi, my name's Mariah, and I'm Eden. This is my brother Cameron. Oh, dang it! That's my mom. She's cooking a lot of delicious food. And you know my dad, George Charlie Roberts.
They made me realize that maybe going up the cluster wasn't the smartest of ideas, you know, seeing how I did finally find somebody I was actually happy with.
So, kick off your shoes, turn on the news, and enjoy this fun show.
For as much as George and Kitty have consented together in holy wedlock and pledged their troth each to the other, and have declared the same by the giving and the receiving of rings, and by the joining of hands, I pronounce that they are man and wife in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. You may kiss your bride.
We conform because we think it's proper. We conform because we think it's right. We want to fit in.
Boy, the government tells you you must behave this way because we'll kill you. Basically, religion says you must behave a certain way or God will kill you.
It starts at birth. It starts through, as I said, the media. We hear what the media tells us to hear. We see what the media tells us to see.
Classically, of course, religion's been the tool of government, or sometimes on occasion vice versa in the cagier cases. They tend to work hand in hand. As soon as you stop always re-examining the way it's done, you're just following a preconceived notion and you have no idea if it's appropriate to the situation or not because you haven't questioned it.
Everything we read, everything we look at, and everything we hear. And when I say media, I'm not always talking about ABC, NBC, CBS, or even NPR. The media can be the person next to you in some respects. Everybody's in this little bitty box. When I say the box, I'm talking about the lifestyle that we stick ourselves into. Whether we choose a lifestyle of free will or a lifestyle of ethics, we create a set of blinders. The media raises our children now, and the government has made sure that we listen to them and not to our own inner selves.
Most people cop out and look for a predefined. Oh, well, the government says this is the widget that fits that hole. Okay, now the overwhelm's gone. I feel better. I'll use the pre-approved widget and the hammer they gave me with it to make it fit.
Like when I got out, like the first fucking thing I did, you know, was besides party off in Butte for 3 days, I went to Billings and I found a job in an apartment and I started hanging out in a fucking bar that was halfway between where I worked and where I lived. I started meeting people, and I didn't think about it until I was with the carnival. That I didn't even consciously think about why I was living like that, because I sure as hell didn't live like that when I went to prison.
Government, religion, in general, tribes and societies are ways in which people get an ordered matrix from the outside. It makes the process really convenient and easy.
I want you to turn around and be like this, live like this, and conforming to their ways of life.
I'm not going to be a cookie cutter or anything. I'm not going to be a cookie cutter felon that goes back 10 times in fucking 20 years. And I'm not going to be a cookie cutter Christian either.
There's always that clash because I'm not the same as all the other lambs in the park.
I'm not them people and they're not me.
I didn't even know what I was doing or why I was doing it. It's the weirdest fucking thing, dude.
We all have the perfect what we're supposed to have. This is the way we judge ourselves. I have my house, my kids, my wife, my job, my office.
I mean, Jesus wore a robe and slippers, and he still got ridiculed. And Howard Hughes, man, he had lots of billions and trillions of dollars. But what good did that to him? He's afraid of a germ.
A value is, in a succinct vernacular, something you've determined is worthwhile. And morals are just whatever you decide is going to get you there.
We drive our cars to work and we have the job.
So Primal Brain's happy because the affirmation cues are coming in.
I've done all that stuff. I've had jobs, raised children, had wives, been in houses. God knows how many jobs I've had, different trades I've had to learn, different asshole bosses I've had to put up with.
And when a person gets to that point that he realizes he can't drive the car anymore, and he can't drive the job, and he doesn't fit in, he tries to find a society where he can fit in.
You have to move from I am the center of the universe to where you're a part of something. In fact, part of an infinite something, surrounded by other parts of an infinite something, or infinite parts of a something. And you're all like feathers on the wind. Sometimes you want to reach out and play with the feathers on the wind that are around you. And with the ego death and unnamed emotions, you can do so, and it's just play. It's all feathers playing on the wind.
I'm on a little bit of probation, but I'm not worried about it really, because I live on the slabs, and no sheriff's department comes way out here. The sheriff does come out here, but it's hard to find anybody out here.
This guy who's not allowed on my slab wouldn't get off my fucking slab, and he was in a minivan, and he's a strong, wiry motherfucking hippie that's a hard worker. And I knew 3 of me couldn't pry him out of that minivan. So I'm like, I'll go get the sheriff. And he's like, the cops? And I'm like, no, man, the slab sheriff.
What are you looking at?
I think Jerry got to be sheriff because people recognized him as the most dangerous thing around.
People think we call him the sheriff because he's a tough guy. That's not why he's the fucking sheriff. He'll get tough and he'll call his deputies, and we'll all have his back because we've seen the way he works.
I'm always going to be the sheriff. People out here elected me. That's where I feel it's an honor and a privilege to serve these people out here.
He's such a peace-commanding presence.
Out here, I am the rules, laws, and regulations.
Just out the border!
This is why I fucking don't want to live in society anymore. Motherfuckers.
Illegal search! Illegal search!
Searching with a dog is searching! That really pisses me off when they made that legal 3 years ago, dude, saying a fucking search dog's not eligible for consent. Fuck, it's a search. It's obviously a search. Yep. Americans need to stand up for their fucking rights in this country.
Because of how I still feel about some things, I'd like to turn around and still go back to who I fucking used to be. Not what I am now, but who I used to be. To this day, nobody still has a concept of what today is. What is today? Is it 1701? Is it 2007? What is today?
The fact of the matter, as I see it, outside of a clearly defined set of purposes, there's no call between the validity of one order of perceptions and another.
Who am I, as Wayne, to question the will of the one for sharing part of his essence in you, Gabriel? Who am I to question?
If you're gonna pick a human incarnation, you planned it out for yourself to go for the range. You might as well use the instrument to its fullest capacity.
I'm still learning. I know I'm a girl. I'm Elizabeth Handyman now. I know I'm simply all love and all spirit, so I guess I'm a hope, I'm faith, I'm charity, I'm belief. That's what really.
You know, I'm not going to act different or act, have two different personalities or anybody, but I'm going to act like I want to act. That's just how I am.
Who cares if somebody comes and sees you or not? Who cares? Who even cares if they like you anymore or not? What's the matter? Don't you like me anymore? With all that stuff just smacks to me is insecurity, lack of self-esteem. What matters is the way you feel about yourself, and you can't let that sort of stuff bog you down and worry you. And I think that most of the folks at the Slab have got that figured out.
Some people don't see, but we all know what's really going on. We just have to look past the things that they put in front of us.
Oh. Can you hear that?
They call us dysfunctional folks that live out here in Slab City, the other side of the railroad tracks, whatever connotation one wants to put. And I'm saying what others seem to imply about the folks out here, because I'm totally happy out here and I function very well out here.
It really doesn't matter if somebody wanted to give us a rent-free, utilities-paid place in town. We sort of like it here, and I don't think we'd take the place in town. Can't see a reason why we would.
We've opened our mind to the possibility there might be more out there than people telling us what to do.
How'd you get to be what you are?
I'm happier than I can ever remember, except in childhood before I knew there was a bad day in it. And that was only a scary day, and I'm not afraid of nothing no more, so it don't matter, because we are all matter.
Just remember, people, if somebody like me can change, so can you. And I don't really have anything else to say, really.